With back to school season here, lots of kids getting ready, are already in the process of preparing for school sports.
Yeah, besides a typical scrape or bruise that they get, there are serious injuries we got to watch for. Joining us this morning is Dr. Summer Ott, concussion expert with UTHealth Houston and Memorial Hermann, plus Rocket Sports Medicine Institute. Doc, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How about you guys?
We're great. Thanks for spending some time with us. We're getting back to school, seeing these injuries. What are the typical injuries we see most from young athletes?
Well, this time of year in particular, getting back into the fall sports season, it's extremely hot outside, so there are exhaustion type injuries, orthopedic injuries, your run-of-the-mill injuries there, but concussion is also a issue and needs to be taken seriously.
Yeah, and speaking about concussions, what are some signs parents need to be on the lookout for?
Well, there are some chief signs and symptoms that parents should acknowledge, one of which is headache, dizziness, maybe their child seems overly fatigued, personality-wise, perhaps they're more irritable than normal, they just aren't engaging with the family like they normally would, they're forgetful, confused. Those are some of the things I'd really look for in an athlete with a suspected concussion.
Are there any ways that we can help prevent, as parents, these injuries? I mean, obviously, sports equipment, there's only so much we can do, but what else?
We certainly can't prevent all concussions, but education is really paramount here. Educating children before the sports season happens. I always acknowledge to folks that we do a good job educating coaches, athletic trainers, school officials, but where we often fall short is educating the athlete themselves. So educating them too on what to look for so that they can even recognize the injury in a teammate and report it.
And Dr. Ott, what recommendations do you have for kids who are starting up a new sport this fall, like football?
Well, I love sports. Sports are so good for athletes and for so many reasons. Again, just a self-awareness. There's many things that can produce headaches, confusion, dizziness, and so forth, heat exhaustion, like I mentioned, dehydration. But athletes, if they're aware, they can certainly report it. And if they're removed and assessed properly immediately after any suspicion of a concussion, their outcomes in the return to play and reaching and going back into the game can happen more quickly.
And how much of that really should be like on the athlete, the coaches? I feel like it really takes everybody to keep an eye out for whatever these signs are.
Right. Yeah. The onus just isn't on the coaches and the athletic trainers and the medical professionals on the field. It is on the athlete. And so, and I understand it's hard to remove yourself from play and, dismiss something that you love doing for a period of time, but you have to. It's your brain. You only have one chance at doing this right.
Oh, Doctor, what about overtraining? We know some kids are practicing as much as 7 days a week. Is there such a thing as too much?
So there have been some attempts looked at sort of dismissing the amount of time people are involved in contact or repetitive head trauma. Therefore, contact practices have been reduced, perhaps tackling techniques to minimize the contact to the head. So there are things that are being done to help reduce that contact or that exposure.
And what do you say to parents like me who do not want my children participating in any head-to-head sports like that? I mean, am I overdoing it? Am I too worried, Doc?
Well, I have children as well, school-age children, and I too ask myself as a parent, am I doing the right thing? And like I mentioned earlier, playing sports and being involved in a sport team, regardless if it's contact or non-contact, has so many benefits for the young child in terms of camaraderie, discipline, teamwork, accountability. So those things really outweigh any risk. But certainly if you're educated, you do the proper things, you're involved in a team that takes this seriously or has a good culture for reporting that there is an injury, you really kind of reduce those chances of any long-term consequences.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, some great advice as we head into this brand new school year. Dr. Summer Ott, concussion expert with UTHealth Houston and Memorial Hermann, plus Rocket Sports Medicine Institute. Thank you for your insight and for being here with us this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you.